Hi everyone, Raphael Harry here, and you're listening to White Label American, a podcast where we hear stories from an immigrant or two, sometimes more. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of White Label American. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope you all are doing great and staying safe out there. So before we begin, I'd like to thank my patrons. Thank you for your support. Appreciate each and every one of you. Without you guys, can't do this. We're an independent podcaster. So, we need all the support that we can get. And if you're listening and you can spare a little change, please join us on Patreon. And it's the White Label American podcast. We need every support that we can get. We need to bring more people on the team. There's a whole lot more that we want to add to this podcast. We're going to hit our 2-year anniversary in September. So, we want to expand and continue to evolve into the next level. And if you can't support on Patreon right now, you can also get our t-shirts at vetclothing.com, vetclothing.com. And also, if you can't buy the t-shirts, if you can't go on Patreon, that's all right. We understand. Not everybody can right now, but you can also still like, share, and subscribe. And go on iTunes or Apple and give us that 5-star plus positive review. Without that, we can't climb up the algorithm. So keep dropping the 5 stars and positive reviews. Tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell your lovers, tell your, everybody to do that. So with that being said, let's meet a good brother of mine, a good friend. We're both alums of Pace University. He's also a veteran and someone who I've been wanting to get on the podcast for a long time. And he finally made it today. So I'm so glad to have Joe Dabo with me. And he's also shares West African roots like myself. And he's from a different part of West Africa that it's a little bit distant, but at the same time we have connections in ways that we'll find out when we begin, as soon as he starts to give us his story. So welcome on the show, Joe. How you doing today?
I'm well, man. Thanks for having me, Raph.
Hey, my pleasure, always. My pleasure. So let's officially get to meet you. So can you introduce us to where you were born and, what childhood was like for you?
So I was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone. That's on the west coast of Africa, if you know. If you watch a lot of sleep. I'm a star.
Yeah. And
Blood Diamond. Well, I don't know. Blood Diamond
was Freetown. They had to go to Freetown.
Yeah.
They had to take the diamond to Freetown.
So that's probably how you heard of us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great place to be. It's a great place to grow up in. A great place to live. If you ever get a chance, you should go visit. It's modernized now. Hotels, Wi-Fi. You have a good time. The beaches are great. The women are lovely. You have a good time. But yeah, that's where I'm from, born and raised. I moved to the U.S., specifically Maryland, when I was around 9. And that's where I grew up and spent most of my childhood until the age of 18, where I went to college, University of Maryland, Terp style.
All right, don't go too far into the adult years. Save that juice for later.
Okay.
We just want to stay in childhood.
My childhood, well, basically from like the age birth to 9, I was in Freetown. So I lived with, my family owns like a compound.
Yeah.
So I lived in a compound. It was me, my oldest aunt, and my youngest aunt, who was weird. Their kids, and Chris Deacon. And I had 2 other cousins whose parents, they had the same parent. Their mom, my aunt, was living in London at the time. So,
okay.
And my mom was living in the U.S. at the time. So my aunt raised us.
All right.
And then that's where I went to school. I was a good kid in school though. I got good grades and whatnot, all the good stuff. And then around 9, my mom sent for me, as they say. Okay. And then I came to Maryland, where I went to school and did my thing.
So back in Freetown, what was a day like for you as a kid?
Oh man, I was a fast ass kid, man. I'm trying to tell you right now. Like I was one of those kids I could see and I could pick up things easily, So it's just like, I guess my day wasn't the same as everybody else because I could walk myself to school. Even though I was walking like almost a mile.
Yeah.
I knew how to get to school and back with no problem. I didn't need adult. I was never one of those people that like to be I know that now as an adult, I don't like to be like micromanaged. So even as a kid, like that my child was a lot different from a lot of people because I would just do what I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted,
Okay.
and like it just all happened. It always fell in line with everything that adults would want you to do. Like I got good grades. I went to school. I did my homework on my own terms. Nobody had to tell me to do my homework. I got up. I played with my friends, but I came home at a certain time. I didn't.
You weren't the kid who waited until they came to find him.
No. I was a kid. I was an adult. I grew up fast. I don't know why. I always handled my business accordingly.
You are the firstborn.
Oh yeah, my mom's first. My dad, no, my mom's first.
Okay.
But I didn't. My mom's family raised me. I didn't know my dad till I was 13, 14. So
okay.
Yeah, so I was the first.
All right. So, with that being said, what would you consider your favorite childhood memory, and where is it from?
My favorite childhood memory. When you sent me the questions, I thought about that, and I was just like, I don't think I could pinpoint a specific memory.
You can share more than one.
Okay, so it's like just growing up in the household with my cousins, like, cause in my mom's side of the family, it's only, but like at the time when I was a kid, it was only me, my uncle, my mom's only brother. Out of 8 kids, only had one brother.
Yeah.
One male, and my older cousin. We're only 3 males. So childhood for me was easy also because like I was the only male in the house. So like of course I'm gonna get spoiled. You know? So just like but it's just to be with my sisters. My cousins are my sisters, you know, just to grow up in the same house with them. It was just always fun. It was never a quiet, dull moment. But it was in a good way. You know, because I grew up in like that household was a real family. Like, you know, with my aunts, they were raising their kids, but it was a family. Like we spent a lot of time together. So there's not one moment I can say was better than any other.
Yeah.
Just being with them, like even now, I kind of want to cry just thinking about it. Like just being with them was just like it was a great thing. Like, you know, it was just like I don't know how to explain it. Because then like my aunt owns a restaurant-sized bar that was attached to the house. So then you got to like interact with other random people like you didn't know. But it was just like. So like, you know, my child was good. I can't pinpoint, but like here in America, I would say if I had to say anything, would be the last vacation I ever took on my aunt before she passed. That would probably be my favorite, I would say, childhood memory, was because like I was already 17, but like I could conceptualize the fact that like she was gonna die soon.
Oh wow.
So like at first I didn't even go on the trip, but then once that came to my mind, I was like, oh, she's gonna die from cancer soon. This might be the last time we get a chance to hang out.
So you were already aware that she was sick?
She had cancer for like a long time, and she's, you know, Africans are. She's super religious.
Okay.
So she just knew God was going to save her.
Okay. Yeah.
And me being a child of science, I was like, you're going to die if you don't take care of this medically. You know, like, and like I said, I didn't want to go. Initially, I didn't even want to go on a trip. I wanted to go to a summer school that summer to take because I was I was so focused getting out of my parents' house, I was gonna get good grades. So I was trying to get ahead of my science class or something like that. So I want to take a prep course for it.
Yeah,
that's what it was. And that's why I didn't want to go. And my mom was like, you gotta go. I'm like, why? Then like that weekend before like money had to be turned in to pay for the trip, me and my one other cousin were the same age. We were talking about my aunt, and it dawned on me why my parents were so adamant about me going on that trip. And I was like, she might die soon. I ended up going. We went to Florida. We went to all of Florida, Universal Studios, Disney World, all that good stuff. It was fun. It was a great time.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just me and her talking about like, cause she's one person I could always confide in. Like no matter what was going on, if I called her, I could just tell her whatever and be free and not worry about the consequences of it.
Yeah.
So me and her, I just still talk to her like it was just, and then obviously a couple months later she passed, but it was just. But that would always just stay in my mind because it was just like, that was it, you know? And I'm happy, and I'm happy like we had that time.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, like with me, it was her youngest son and like me and my twins. My brothers are twins. They're young. So we had that time. So it was good.
Nice. I always like asking about the favorite childhood memory because sometimes it brings out some guests in their answers. You see a thread that you can, you know, trace from their childhood memory to the present in what they are doing, or just in the way they like to have fun, or just there's so many ways that it can go, but there's always something that relates to the present from whatever answer that's given
I got a good one for you.
Sure.
So I was back in Sierra Leone. It was me, my cousin, who we're the same age, but she is just, I think, 10 months older than me. So she's born in October 86. I was born in April 87. So yeah, 10 months, whatever, 6 months. Wow, that's not 10 months, 6 months. 6 months apart. Her and then at the time, she was the youngest. No, she wasn't young, but amongst the ones that live in that household, she was the youngest. So she's 2 years younger than us. Yes. So we were all like around the ages, so 8 and she should be 6. So me and Dilly were 6, 8, and then Stella was 6. So like we're playing water balloons, and my aunt was like, "Don't throw it to the neighbor's yard." So we come to the backyard, and like the way it works is like you go to a part of the backyard, it connects to our neighbor's house.
Yeah.
Like the window to her bedroom. And we didn't like this woman that much, so we started tossing like water balloons in this woman's house. You know, like just at her, not realizing how stupid we were. So I guess the lady comes home and sees this, and then she comes over, and of course we got the whoopings of our lives, man. And it was just like the craziest thing. And then like 10 minutes after that, after like I don't see we got because my aunt didn't really beat us that much. She whooped us a little bit and talked to us. She wasn't really coming in and tear the ass up type of person.
But for back then, it would feel like the whooping of your life.
Yeah. Because I would say she wasn't one of those people that's abusive. Like you know what I'm talking about. She wasn't one of those. She was not one of those.
But especially from that type, if it wasn't the type who whooped you all the time, the day they whooped you, it felt like
that's what it was because she didn't beat you all the time. So what she did is felt like, oh man, but you knew you messed up because it wasn't that she beat you. She whooped you and then she yelled. She whooped you and she talked to you. She didn't yell. You know, like I think I got a lot of why I am right now. Demon came from her because that's I kind of am now. And then like maybe 10 minutes later, me and my cousins get to arguing about it, like boom, 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 boom. And this right here stuck with me for the rest of my life. That's why I remember the story when you brought up like the thread thing.
Yeah.
The only male, once more.
Yeah. 2
females. So we're arguing. My cousin Daly, same age. She hits me, bam. So I hit her right back, bam. She starts crying loud. Boom. My aunt comes over, like, what happened? We tell her what happened. And then like I'm like, damn. So then she smacks the life out of my cousin. Bow! And I'm like, damn, you know, and she doesn't whoop me at all. And then I'm like, why? What happened? And she turns around and she's like, keep your hands to yourself. You know what I mean? Because my cousin's defense was, I'm a woman, you shouldn't hit me. Or I'm a girl. And my aunt was like, woman, man, doesn't matter. Keep your hands to yourself. It doesn't matter who you are, keep your hands to yourself. And that's always stuck with me because it's just like, and that's how I look at life now. It's just like every time I see this, a man reacts and hits a woman and everybody goes crazy. And I'm just like, why is no one holding her accountable for her actions that led to his actions? You know, I get the defense about the strength, differences in strength, but you can't tell me how to act. I mean, how to react to what you did to me.
Yeah.
Like, listen, if you hit me right now and I shot you, I was wilding for that. That's definitely I'm wilding. But I never would have shot you. You kept your hands to yourself.
So you took another step while in Maryland. Okay, so the first step I want to ask, like when you decided to go to college, for someone who wanted to leave the house, parents' house early, why did you choose a university that was in Maryland? And then the second question is, how did you end up in the Army?
Okay, so first part, I just wanted to get the F out of my parents' home. Like I just was like motivated to get out of the house. I actually wanted to go to Howard, but then my parents like talked me into. I got a scholarship to Howard, Morgan. I got one to American also. I probably got a scholarship to any fucking school I applied to.
American was in
University. It's in DC.
DC, yeah.
But I applied to they have a campus in like Switzerland or some shit like that. And I applied to that. I was going to go. That's where I was going to go if it wasn't Howard. But then my parents somehow fucking talked me into going to Maryland. Like you know how they are.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to Maryland, like, but it was still far enough that it was far enough from home. So it wasn't like it was down the street. I live, like, it was at least 45 minutes away.
Okay.
So they couldn't just pop up, you know. That's why I ended up going to Maryland. You know, that's really it. But yeah, that's it. that's really honestly why I ended up going to Maryland.
That sounds a lot like our community.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You want to go to Howard? Not all black school. Like, you know, that's what he told me. It was like it's an all black school. Like, there's more than black people in this world. You gotta do with them. And I'm like, my stupid ass. I'm 17, 18 at the time. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's more than black people in this world. And I've always dealt with more than just black people because I live in a very diverse community. Like, people think it's Queens is probably the only place I've been to that's closest to it. Where I'm from. But where I'm from, it's very, I'm talking about some like A lot of people think racism doesn't exist anymore. When they say that to me, I laugh at them, like my white friends. And I'm like, because you're blind to it. Because you don't see the bullshit that goes on. You don't recognize the microaggressions.
But who was racist to them?
No, because for them, it's like, I grew up with all these people of other races. We were all fine. We all shared the same food. We all slept in the same like floor. We all like ate at the same table. Like some of them I sleep at the houses and eat in their parents' house. Like we used to have a joke about fried chicken because it was like, I have a white friend. His family loves fried chicken, and then they should be like, "Oh, we're black too now." Right? It was a joke. It was
but again, it's not a bad joke,
because
to be honest.
because one time his mom was like, "You guys are fucking ignorant," like, and then she was really upset by that. We thought she was gonna find it funny. She did not. White lady, she did not find it funny because she was just like, "Fried chicken is fried chicken. Everybody likes fried chicken.
Yeah,
it's not a black, white,
does.
purple thing. Anybody likes fried chicken."
That's the thing.
Like, shut the hell up. She was not happy about that. She killed that joke, actually.
Okay, she knew.
That joke stopped when she got a hold of that joke. She was not. And the funny thing, we were making that joke. We're in the basement. I remember because we were having like a fake boxing match because we just got boxing gloves. We were boxing. Yeah. We were making that joke. And she heard it from upstairs and came downstairs. She never comes downstairs and bugs us. Unless we cuss too much and her youngest son is upstairs or that stupid shit. She came downstairs like, no.
That was good, though.
It's fucking ignorant.
That's good.
So, but the Army. You said, why did I join the Army?
Yeah. I was at the branch that you ended up in.
My older cousin was in the Army. He was a knucklehead. Like, he, like yourself, he came to this country as a 17-year-old. So, obviously, when he was time for him to go to college, he couldn't pay for school. So, he was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to join the Army and become a citizen and blah, blah, blah. So, but before that, he was doing mad dumb shit, getting in trouble for like street racing. He's one of those kids that came here and wanted to be part of the thuggish, ruggish group. You feel me? So, but
that wasn't me.
He joined the Army, and I saw what the Army did for him. You know what I mean? Like, and like, obviously it fucked him up. He went to Afghanistan and Iraq. He was one of the first people he's an infantry, first people in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was there for like both places like 18 months apiece. He was there like his groups were part of the reason why they stopped that stop loss bullshit. Because it's like 2 of his soldiers committed suicide.
Wow.
Because they kept on telling them, "Oh, you're going home," and then they get ready to go home, and you don't go home. And if you've ever been in a war type, I've been there, so I understand how that can get to that.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like when you just know you're about to be out of danger, and then you got back in danger. So he just took their own fucking heads off. But so when he came back, he was whoo. But long story short, he ended up getting his degree in whatever he wanted. Degree in some bullshit. Ended up working for the FBI. Then for FBI, went to Homeland Security, and now at that time when I went to live with him and when I joined the Army, he was actually applying to be an ambassador for the United States government.
Oh, wow.
Right? My cousin has a master's. My PhD, master's in mathematics, but I forgot from like a regular school. He was applying against people that went to Harvard and Yale and Princeton, all the top 7, right? He got picked over them to be the ambassador.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I'm living with him at the time, and I'm seeing this is like me fresh off the streets doing my dumb shit. Living with him, I came with him because it was like shit got too hectic, and I was like, I'm gonna die out here. So I was living with him, and me and him were talking about my future, and like, because once he got the position, he's going to leave in like a couple of months, and like, where was I gonna go after that?
Yeah.
You know? And he was like, join the Army, and I was like, oh, why not? That's why. That's all it was.
It worked for you, right?
No, actually, he said join the military.
No, I mean, you meant it worked for him, right? So,
but I couldn't swim, so I wasn't joining the Navy.
That was me.
I went to the Marine recruiter, and them motherfuckers are nuts, you know. And I'm like, yo, you can't put someone that has severe PTSD as a recruiter. That's a bad idea. It's like they came fresh off the range, as in like fresh out of deployment Afghanistan, and they put them in a recruiting position. That's what it felt like to me. After being downrange and coming back home, that's what it felt like when I thought back to that day I met them. And I was like, okay, I feel like my before I walked out. Army was next door. I went to them, and then it was a black dude, fresh, cool as fuck, my guy, and like the fucking the NCO that was in charge of that recruiting station, also black, cool as shit. And I liked them because they were very honest in their approach. They were very honest, and like to the T. You know what I mean? They could have had me signed up for any bullshit, and like when I did my ASVAB test, all that came back, and I was choosing MOSs that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I saw that they would give him like $20,000 bonuses to join infantry, truck driver. I don't know if you know anything about driving trucks in the Army. At that time when I was joining,
I drove in Navy.
They were dying.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Because you hit an IED.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first one to go for that bed IED.
Yeah.
And then they saw that, they were like, fuck no. Like, I was about to pick it because the bonus was so crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is to get us.
He was like, fuck no.
Both of them. I probably would have if I.
They wouldn't let you. They wouldn't let you. Like, they're like, you're a very intelligent young black man. You're going to do something better with your life. You're not choosing this. You pick something else that you could do outside of when you get the hell out of the Army. Because they both told me, like, you're not staying in for 20. I can tell you're not staying in for 20. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go Rangers. I'm going to do this. Because I was gung-ho, fit. I was in shape. So I'm like, I'm going to be a Ranger. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go Air Special Forces.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not staying. You're too smart. You're not staying. And I'm like, you're smart. Because the head of the NCO that was in charge, NCOIC, of that recruiting station, he was getting his PhD in education. So I'm like, you're clearly intelligent yourself. So what the fuck do you mean? Like, that's not an indication of what I'm saying.
That is completely different from my recruiting station.
No, they would not.
I mean, my recruiter was intelligent, but because he was my age. He was both 26.
They guided me to.
He still tricked me though.
Yeah, no, see that's that, and that's why I realized a lot of people had that experience, because I see the jokes all the time on military recruiters, and I didn't have that. Like they literally guided me through that whole process.
I think you probably one of the first people I've met. Okay, yourself and but the other person who's been on the podcast, she had a mentor before going to the recruiter, and she went for officer. He put out officer program.
Oh, see, no, my cousin was like, "Oh, you gonna be a military? You gonna be an infantry?" Like because he was down for my whole fucking airborne ranger shit. So he was like, "Yeah, they're gonna be infantry," because he was infantry.
So
no, they were like, "No."
The fact that you never made it to talk to an Air Force recruiter.
Hell no, because on my way there, I knew other people that were trying to get in the Air Force, and their rate period was 18 months.
Yeah, Air Force, they take
like,
their time, man.
You can suck my dick. Like I'm not.
Air Force, they're like, we'll go play golf.
Mind you, I was on a time crunch because my cousin was leaving in a couple months. Because he got accepted, and his first station was Ethiopia.
Nice.
So he was leaving in a couple months, and I'm like, I am on a time crunch. I don't have time. I'm not going back to my mom's house with my tail tucked into my leg. I'm damn sure not going back to these streets so I can get shot or fucking put in jail for the rest of my life. Because I've been locked up before. Not locked up, but I've been in holding cells for like a weekend. I don't like that shit. I don't want to fucking be locked up for real locked up. I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. So I was like, I got to do something. So I was under pressure. So the Air Force was out of...
Okay.
I not even... But the Army, though, I'm glad I did it. Because like I said, those recruiters, like, they guided me to where I ended up doing. Like, they told me to do intelligence or do communications.
Wow.
Oh, it's called Signal in the Army. Signal.
Yeah, Signal. Wow, that is... So refreshing.
I don't have one of those. I'm sorry, I don't have one of those stories for you, but I can't.
No.
Sergeant First Class Scott and I forgot the other guy's name. Sergeant Barbara Barbus. Fucking great people. Greatest human beings I ever met in the Army.
That's fine.
Let me tell you something. To the point that like, because if you have like 60 credits in college or whatever, you're supposed to get like automatic E3 in the Army when you go to basic.
Yeah. I
couldn't get my paperwork in on time.
Oh.
When I left for basic.
Yeah.
Yo, he pursued it. I was in basic when I got promoted to E3.
Wow.
My drill sergeant came up to me. He was like, he slapped the shit on my chest. You know how the fucking dickheads are for no reason. I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro? Bow! Congratulations, you're on E3 now. I'm like, wait, what? And then once I think like Family Day came around, I got a phone, so I was able to check my email and I saw that I got promoted to E3 because he made sure my paperwork got in while I was in basic.
Wow.
He could have just said once I got in and he could have checked me off.
He could have checked you off. Exactly.
I was already on this book as in.
Yeah. His job is done.
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like people like that, like it's part of the reason why I am the way I am right now. Because like throughout my life, I just had people like I call them guardian angels. You know, because it's like they just been that. I've been blessed to say I've had people that actually cared enough for me, looked out for me, that were not blood related, that they never met me before, but just saw something in me that's always taken a liking to me. You know what I mean? Like I was in high school, freshman year, geometry class. I went in to get help like the second week. I didn't understand it because geometry made no sense to me. I go to get help. My teacher, Miss Ernst, looks at me and goes, "Joe, woman just met me. She's only known me for like a week and a half. When it comes time to do college recommendations, you need anybody come to me. I'll do one for you. You feel me? This is my freshman year. This is a white lady I've never met in my life. Besides that first week and a half.
Yeah.
She did one for me when I graduated. Wow. She was there for my graduation.
Wow.
Like, you know, like, so throughout my life, man, I've just been lucky to have that. And like I didn't appreciate those people at first, but now I understand. Like now I look back and things and I see how my life is going now. Like, yeah. So right now I think I'm saying it. Like I've been blessed, honestly. I've had a lot of hardships, but I've been blessed. So it's like, yeah, that's why I joined the army. Long story short, that's how I understand now.
It's a beautiful story. It's totally different from, that's one reason why, some people have reached out to are like, oh, you probably must have had somebody from my country, or I'm like, dude, your story is not going to be the same as that person. And, there are other veterans I've reached out to, and they're like, oh, I knew you've had one veteran or two veterans or five. Like, why you want to? I'm like, because every other person who's been here, none of them have had a recruiter like yours. My recruiter was, I was fresh. And it's like, you speak English, your English is good. Do you have a car to come to the station? I said, no, my cousin. And in fact, the way I even ended up in military was, they all said, family was like, oh, go do nursing. Like all the Nigerians and Ghanaians are nurses. They all work as nurses in the DMV area.
Yep, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, you make quick money, I'm like, I don't like. I've
never felt CNAs or the fuck
CNAs.
CNAs, yeah.
I'm like, that's fine, but I've never been comfortable in that kind of field, so I don't know if I want to do that. Okay, then go to McDonald's or Walmart, and write your CV or resume. I've never done that in my life. Nobody wanted to guide me. Okay, go apply to school. Okay, that's when I found out about.
Everybody has a fucking grade about your life, but never wants to execute your life. Yeah, right.
And that's when I found out about school loans, and I'm like, wait, they take school loans in America? They're like, how you think you pay for school? You think I'm gonna pay for you? I'm like, what? So now I'm like paranoid. I'm overwhelmed, and distant cousin calls me like, hey, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll go join the army. The reason why I wanted to join the army was because I couldn't swim. I'm down from a riverine tribe in Nigeria, but I never stayed in the villages, so I would have learned how to swim. But even though that means swimming across rivers anyway, but I was like, yeah, I don't know how to swim, so I won't go to Navy. And then my mom was like, oh, they will know that they will know that you're Nigerian. There's only Africans that they sent to Iraq, so why would they? Where did they get all this? I don't know, but they will send you to Iraq. They'll, hey, you want to kill me? She starts calling the whole family. Called my uncle, who was the major general in Ghana.
Sounds like my mom.
And that one is like, but he was in the army in Ghana, so why would he say I shouldn't join army? My distant cousin here, he was in the Navy. He calls me and says, hey, tell your mom you join the Navy. I said, but I don't know how to swim. He said, oh, they'll teach you how to swim. Okay, oh, they'll teach me. Okay, that's fine. And I was like, well, what will I do in the Navy? Oh, just tell them supply. I said, what's supply? Oh, you carry boxes. What is boxes? That's it? That's all? Yeah. Oh, I can do that. Yeah. Okay. They set me up. So I called recruiter. Recruiter's like, hey, what do you want to do? Supply. Really? Yeah, supply. So I didn't even know I would take. He didn't tell me. My cousin.
You had choices for MOS.
My cousin did not mention ASVAB. Recruiter did not mention ASVAB. Nothing until the day I went for MEPS. They were like, walk in here, face the computer, don't talk to nobody. I'm like, whoa.
Bro, let me tell you
all they told me was medical test I'm coming here for, right? And they checked my background for arrest and all that. I'm like,
you see my face?
Clean.
You see my face in disbelief? Like, bro,
I've met some people with those kind of stories. And I was like, what is, so, you know what? When I was looking at the guy, like, what are you telling me to do? What kind of medical test is this? He's like,
the duck walk.
The guy looked at me and was like, oh, you're one of those again. Dude, go to the goddamn ASVAB. I said, ASVAB? Huh? So I just went there and now I'm panicking. I ended up doing the test. I didn't even know. I didn't want to look at my result. And the people were crying the next day. Oh, I failed. Oh, I took the test for the third time. I'm like, shit, people have taken the test for 3 times.
People are fucking stupid.
And
that's
like,
an aptitude test.
Oh my God. I'm not even going to bother looking at my result. I didn't know I've not taken a test in how many years. Now, I must have failed badly. Look, these kids are failing. Jeez, I must have failed. And then somebody looks at me, hey, man, you quiet. What did you score? And I'm like, I failed. Yeah, but what was your score? Oh, I failed. Yeah, you share. Everybody shared here. Everybody, this guy scored 20. This one scored 19. This one scored, I'm like, God dang. Over 100? Damn, this test. I thought it was easy, but maybe it's not that easy. Maybe I was just tripping. And I left one whole section. I didn't do the the section that has like the circles and the
Oh, we had
squares.
to put the things together. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what the hell? I'm tired. So I left I left that section blank. I didn't touch that. I didn't answer a single question there. And someone came from behind me and pulled my card, snuck up on me and pulled my card. And that's when he was like, dude, you got 69. Who's your tutor? What book did you use? And he's asking me, I'm like, there's a book?
I ain't want to say my ABBAT score now. Shit.
I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, what job do you want to do? I said, supply. Oh, you don't want to be an OS? You don't want to be an IT? And I'm like, well, I'm not a citizen, but they're like, oh, okay, you might not get some of them, but hey, you should ask for this. And then they're throwing jobs at me, and I'm like, what? You mean? Huh? I'm not like, wait, no. This is too much. I'll just stick to my supply.
Yo, my recruiter used to come pick me up when we used to go for runs.
Yeah,
we had lunch together on like certain days.
Wow,
that's why it's crazy you're saying this shit to me. Like
it was only on the weekends, but I had to go with other kids who have been recruited, and we exercised together.
My recruiter used to come pick me up.
No, there was no.
And then like I took a pre-ASVAB. This is what they do in that recruiting station, which is smart. So they don't waste their fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make you come in and take like a pre-ASVAB 20 questions. If you don't score at least like a 13 out of 20, they'll tell you to go home and study, and they'll give you like a book to go.
Yeah, and you can get the book at the library.
So I went in, I got 20 out of 20. Boom. So then I went to MEPS. No, I took my ASVAB before I went to MEPS because you have to take it before you go to MEPS. Where I took it.
You took it at MEPS.
Oh, not for me. I took it away from I went to MEPS. I took like a month before I went to MEPS.
Oh, okay.
I scored a 92. Nice. And that's when like the Marines and Navy recruiters started hitting me up again. I was like, I can't swim, and you motherfuckers are crazy, so I am not going. So I don't understand.
What Marines need 92 for? Marines, I thought like, you 28, bro, 29.
Let me tell you something. I was at MEPS, bro. I was at fucking MEPS, and they were smoking kids at MEPS. This kid's not even in yet. They were getting smoked at MEPS. Like,
wow.
For those that's listening, I know what being smoked is. They were getting forced to do physical activities as punishment at MEPS. And MEPS you're not in yet. So
Marines, a whole different. It's
see what I'm saying? So I'm like,
yeah,
you motherfuckers are nuts.
Yeah, they are nuts.
So I'm glad I went Army and whatever. I'm out. That's crazy.
Man, this is okay. Let's take a short break and then we're going to focus on you being in America. Let's be in America full time. Hi everyone, your host Raphael Harry here. I can't believe we've gone past our 1 year anniversary of doing White Label American. I've had the privilege of speaking with some amazing people, sharing their modern day immigrant stories. And you've allowed this Nigerian immigrant to share parts of his immigrant journey through this podcast. Also, one of my goals of this podcast is breaking down artificial walls that keep people from getting to understand each other. Based on your wonderful feedback over the last year, I think we have done a decent job in breaking down some of those walls. We would like to continue and expand on this mission, but we need your help. I've had an amazing time creating and producing episodes for this show largely on my own. We have a lot of ideas for new and exciting content to expand upon the mission, but we need direct support from you, our listeners, which is why we have created a White Label American Patreon page where you can make a one-time donation or become a sustaining contributor where you can get access to exclusive content, help me interview upcoming guests by submitting questions, and even have the chance to sit down with me for a one-on-one conversation, either virtually or in studio. So if this podcast means something to you, and if you really love this show, think about becoming a sustaining contributor and donating by going to patreon.com/whitelabelamericanpod. Thanks for listening and for the privilege of your company. All right, welcome back from the quick break, and thanks for staying with us. So, Joe, you moved to America, Maryland. Where in Maryland were you at?
Germantown, Maryland.
Oh,
Montgomery County. It's like 20 minutes
yeah.
outside of DC.
I was when I first moved to United States. I was in Fairfax. Well, I was at Reston. I stayed with my mom in Reston,
Oh, okay.
and my brother brought me to Silver Spring once.
Okay.
And that's where I think that's where I saw my first movie in the United States. What was that? That's an Adam Sandler movie. Why? I don't know why it took me to that, but that was the first time. Yeah, I thought I was my man. You know, the being a bro. Yeah, it failed because my bro was like, oh, this the what they call them, the staff of the cinema where you buy the popcorn and all that.
Yeah.
Like the manager had a crush on me, and she was like, "Oh, who's that cute guy?" And I was like, "My lanky self, fresh from Nigeria, very skinny, still had a little hair, and and he was like, "Oh, that's my bro. You want to talk to that guy?" And he was like, "Hey, go to the counter." That lady wants. I said, "Go to the counter for what?" I said that just go. And as soon as I was coming, I saw the lady smiling. She like ran away. I was like, why is she running away? Like what? She said, oh, she said she likes you. I said, oh, well, that's why you told me to go. Oh, hell no, I'm not going. I'm fresh off the boat. I haven't been in the United States for up to 1 week. Then after I'd stayed for 2 weeks and eating enough burgers, I was like, all right, let's go. I ain't taking you there. You failed.
Yeah, hell, that's mad far too, man. Silver Spring to Reston, that's not quick. Yeah, that's a far drive.
No, far. My cousins lived in Gettysburg.
Oh, that's right by me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why I knew Germantown.
Oh, okay.
I spent my first Christmas in America there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, when you arrived, do you remember your first culture shock, or did that come later? Did that come from a later memory?
Man, you know what? The smell of the air when I arrived was just like, it was so different. This is my first time being in snow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you arrived during winter?
December '96.
Ooh.
This is my first time seeing snow, and this is like the blizzard '96. So I don't know if you're familiar with the blizzard '96. Like where my area, that blizzard '96 was it. So I come, it's snowing. I can always remember that smell. That smell sticks with me to this day. Like, I remember the airport. I remember seeing my mom and my dad, like my little brothers for the first time. That smell of the airport, I can't forget that. But I felt a culture shock, though. I think the first time for me was, this is my first time also seeing white people in person. Like, this is my first time seeing a white person or Asian person. Someone that was not black, let me put it that way.
Okay.
In person. So that was like, it's because you've been where I'm from, so it's like, it's a very diverse place.
Yeah.
So this is like my first time seeing people of all races, creed, ethnicity interact with each other. So that's, I guess, number one. But to me, the biggest thing to me was like, I'm a very touchy person, but where I'm from, it's an okay thing. Like, to be close, you try to hug your friends and America, I quickly learned that. Like, I remember being in the 4th grade, I was in school, and it was me and my friend, it was Peter and Greg. They're like my 2 first friends I made in the United States. 2 white boys. And like, I go to hug Peter. It's like we're going to recess or something. And then he was just like, what the hell, get over, that's so gay. And like, that to me was so, I had never understood that. And like, and I used to go to school like an idiot, bro. I used to do all my jeans, my shirt tucked into my jeans, belt tied in, and I see other kids are looking at me like, what is wrong with this kid? But like, it wasn't registering in my mind, like, what the fuck you doing, son? And then like, I think that was it for me. It was just like that trying to give my friend a hug around, put my arm around my friend's shoulder, and he was just like, then that space thing was a big thing. I didn't understand that, but obviously, as I'm a quick learner, so as within a week, I was like, oh, this is how this works. Let me stop tucking my dumb ass short in. Let me turn to everybody else.
Yeah, I think that was something that, because I came as an adult, and even as men, we still touch each other, hold each other, and there was an acquaintance. He's no longer a friend, and he used to do this thing, like, if you were losing an argument to him, or you were slow to get a point that he was making, and we just so happened to be crossing the street, he would just grab you and like, come on, I'll take you across the street because you're slow to catch up to what he's telling you. So it's like, I
That's
may as well
hilarious.
just
That's
take you
hilarious.
along. May as well just take you along. So it became something that, people never fought against it, except if you were brand new to our crew. And then what are you doing? But it's not like, why you touching me? That was never the question. Like, why is the man holding a fellow man's hand? Like, that was never the question. So we laughed with it. And when I joined, I moved to the United States November 2006. No, 2007. And by March, I'd already signed up for the Navy. And July, I was in boot camp. And of course, I'm like, hey, man, I'm tapping people freezing up, like, why you touch your shoulder? It's like a deer with the headlights on. Like, what up? What's up, man? What's up? Hey, man. We about to go take a shower. Why are you touching me, man? That's something you want to tell me, like, bro? I'm like, why are you all so touchy? Like, I'm not making a move on you. I mean, if I were, I think I would be like this. It's just weird. And oh, no, man, you gotta learn American, man. Gotta learn space, personal space.
Yeah, it's just the craziest thing to me.
But at the same time, we're like, all of us were naked, taking a shower together and still chatting. So,
but yeah, just a space. It's like, you know what I'm saying? America's a crazy place to grow up in. It's like, and like, you know what it is? Until like you have a perspective of an outsider, you don't understand how crazy it is to grow up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why it's easy for me to navigate my way through America, because it's like I was once an outsider who's not part of the clan.
Yeah.
But also understands the perspective of an outsider. So it's like, and that's why like I try to treat people all like respect. I meet them like, and I try to. I'm always polite to people, because like being an outsider in a very in a non-inclusive society that America is, as long as it tries to pretend it's very inclusive, it's not very inclusive. You learn real quickly like how lonely you can get if you don't know how to assimilate and be a part of that culture.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's like the American culture is crazy.
That's true.
Like, it's crazy. Because like I listen to my parents talk about it, and it's like because they didn't grow up here and never had to assimilate to this culture, and like there's been adults here their whole life, so like they go to work and go home.
Mm-hmm.
And they speak about America or whatever, and they're like, it sounds so crazy. It's almost like they don't live here when they speak about it. Coming from me, because like I live and then I have to fight both battles of being a Black American and a Sierra Leonean.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard battle to fight on a daily basis.
Yeah,
and people understand that. Like it took me a while to reconcile both. Because like I told someone the other last week, I had to choose which side is going to represent more. And being a young Black man in America, of course I'm going to choose my young Black Americanness, because that's what's going to help me survive in America.
Black comes first.
Exactly.
And until I realized that is because there's so many of us who are like, oh, Nigerian. And I'm like, and then when it happens, I did not think this would happen to me. There's racism. I said,
because you're a Black fool. Like, no one cares the fact you're Nigerian. No one gives a shit that you're Sierra Leonean. No one gives a shit that like you're Jamaican.
I mean, when I started posting about Black Lives Matter back in the days, man, it wasn't like I was I don't consider myself woke, but I was. I thought this is the right thing to do. That's where I was coming from. I saw a problem and I didn't like it. And there were Nigerians literally inboxing me. They were inboxing me like, "Oh boy, we're not these people. What is wrong with you? We're not these people. We are better than them." Okay, that what you feel? Then guess what? A few months later, a Nigerian gets shot in Atlanta. Nigerian American gets shot. I shouldn't say Nigerian American. And guess who's complaining now? And they're tagging me. I'm like, why are you tagging me on this? If you're gonna come and complain, but why do you need to tag me, Raf? I did not see you complaining about this guy. I said, why?
For what? Didn't you tell me to mind my business?
Now, do you need Black Lives Matter to come complain, to come fight? Exactly. And then when NSAS begins, who were you guys calling to come carry the cross for you guys? But as soon as something goes down, you are the first to attack. And I'm like, come on, why are we like, we don't, you're Black, learn it. So I have a good friend of mine. He just arrived literally 5 days ago. He's in Ohio. He's at Bowling Green University. And, he's setting things is fresh. First time in America, And I'm like, enjoy it. But at the same time, I'll be wrong if I don't tell you certain things. Like you don't need to wait until 2 years until that's when I started cracking. And oh, you have the advantage of knowing people like me now who are like
Been
from day
here,
one.
done
This
it.
is
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So know where you step. Know and don't think just because all smiles it means no. It doesn't mean that. So enjoy what you're enjoying, but this is what it is. And you're black. I told you from day one, you're black. Remember that.
Never forget that.
You just don't think because you just arrived from Nigeria, like I'm different from these people. You're not different from these people. You're
The
not different
moment
from
you
anybody.
step foot in America, they don't give a shit about the fact that you're Trinidadian, Jamaican,
Your accent
Nigerian.
might sound like Sebastian from the Little Mermaid.
It doesn't
or
matter
whatever.
because what they see is blackness. And even other, bro, listen to me. I was in college. This is when I went to the University of Maryland, College Park. So I'm like in one of our. It wasn't my dorm actually. I'll take that back. I was in the city of. I was in PGK. Where was I? Wherever. Oh, I went to my friend's apartment building, and they have like a security desk on the down. You have to check in. Blah blah blah. Both securities are both black. Both are Sierra Leoneans. Don't realize I'm Sierra Leonean. I got my do rag on. Got my fitted backwards. You know what I mean? Like I got my earring in. I'm wilding, and I'm probably drunk. And they start talking in Creole. Oh, pretty much what they were saying was just like, oh, look at these fucking bastards. They ain't gonna be shit in life. Blah, 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 blah. They are shitting us heavy. Hard body going. And like, I think at the time, one of my boys was arguing with them for whatever. Like, the head of security comes out. He's a black American. Boom, boom, boom. They get done talking. Boom, boom. And I'm like, I like to report and file a complaint. And then he was like, why? And I lay out exactly what these fools have been saying about us. And their face was just like, and he's like, oh, I was like, yo, you didn't know? And I said something in Creole. I forgot what I said to him. Right now I can't even speak it that well anymore. So, but at the time I couldn't speak it well enough.
And fun fact.
That's all they see is your blackness.
I was because I had a Sierra Leonean shipmate when we went to boot camp together. He was older, and he's from New York too. We lost contact after boot camp because he left for Florida. And we never, he didn't have a cell phone then, and just never connected again after that. Ali Sila, great guy, but he was like he was like an uncle in boot camp because he was much older. And that guy, like, we always had this thing we used to say because it was I think during the Civil War, the Sierra Leonean Civil War, that that was the first time we heard the Creole, which we call Pidgin English, on the radio, and it was like, man, this is the best one we've heard. West Africa, like, Nigeria, we like to claim everything is the best from Nigeria and all that. Then we had Sierra Leonean. I was like, man, it's like they're singing. So when I met Ali in boot camp, I was like, bro, I was speaking my Nigerian Creole. It's like, he understood. So that was just two of us using that like our code.
Yeah, right, word up.
He didn't understand that the main reason why I used to do that to him was just so he could speak, because I just love hearing it. I love hearing Sierra Leonean, because that's one reason why I always get in trouble with a bunch of Nigerians, because I don't do this. Nigeria is better than anybody. I've never believed that. At one point in time I used to. But the moment I started meeting other people, I'm like, man, I enjoy it. When they say, come eat jollof, I've eaten jollof from Sierra Leone, I've eaten jollof from everywhere, and I enjoyed it.
If it's not from my mama house.
If the person can't cook, then the person can't cook. It's different.
Nah, I fuck all that. If it's
you're
not from
good,
my mama house, it ain't
I
good.
enjoy
I'll tell you right
it.
now.
I enjoy it. So why would I say only Nigerians can cook? Why I say only Nigerians can do this? And then you find the food didn't even come from Nigeria, and then you're like, well, why are we fighting everybody? We're fighting everybody. Like, it must be Nigerian. The music is this. Like, there was even a group of Sierra Leoneans, because a lot of Sierra Leone refugees were in Nigeria. And a couple of them were singing Yoruba. It was an explicit song. But, man, we love that song. That song was hot for a minute. I don't know which other, it was like a one hit wonder. But I can't remember their group, that group's name. But, man, it was... One day, I found out they were Sierra Leoneans. I was like, well, these boys, you guys just figured out Nigeria's music market, singing Yoruba, boys with just, hey.
Yeah, exactly.
You go down to the ghetto, that's the song everybody was grooving to. And I'm like, man, but people were still at the same time complaining on the radio, why is Nigerian government spending money on Sierra Leone? At the same time, you're dancing to music from Sierra Leone. Why? But when you see Sierra Leone woman on the street, hey, they're fine, oh. Ooh. I feel marijuana. But like, make up your mind. What complaint do you want to complain about? Like,
people just like to talk, man.
We're performative. We are so
Yes,
performative.
it's all about theatrics.
Theatrics. So, you did your 4 years in the army? Or?
I did 4, and then I got out.
And you got
out.
No,
I did 4 active, and I did 2. I signed up for another 6 as a reservist.
Okay.
But my second year in the reserves, I went for one of the NCO academies. So I went for January, and I came back, and they hadn't put my paperwork in to get paid after a month of me being away.
Oh, no.
And that's why we're still at pace. So I'm like, bro, I could have went to school and made like 3,000 or whatever we were making.
Yeah, that was like.
And you guys didn't put my paperwork. And they're like, well, according to, and then they're like, well, in this unit we don't put paperwork until you come back from training. And I'm like, that's not according to fucking Big Army, which ranks all this bullshit you're saying to me. That paperwork is supposed to be put in the week you go in.
Yes.
Argue. I even got to my commander, and then we got an argument. You guys, so I cussed all of them out. I never went back. That's how I ended my army career. I cussed all of them out because they're all fucking stupid, and it's like, you fucking idiots. And I told them straight, I'm like, you fucking idiots come in and you play fucking army. I was in the army. I know how the fucking army works. So don't tell me this bullshit. You know what I mean? So we go, and then like they're all looking at me like I was cussing all of them the fuck out. All of them, from captain down to fucking E8. They're all getting cussed the fuck out. I cussed, and then my fucking E7 was in there too, trying to fucking chime in. And I cussed him out too. Then I went to the E7 for S1. I cussed this stupid ass out, and I never came back.
And they never contacted you?
They did. They did. And I was like, I'm not fucking coming back. Fuck you guys. Just fucking admin me out. You feel me? Like, and they kept on calling, and then like my command, because I worked in the S6 shop. So my OIC in the S6 shop, I love him. My guy. This guy was trying to give me a GS12 job when I first met him.
Wow.
Like straight up, he was just like, oh, we talked, and he's like, oh, you were active duty, and then we talked for a little bit. He's like, oh, you do this? Email me all of because obviously I had the military email still, so or send me all the shit, and I was like, oh shit. But I was like, nah, bro, I've been trying to do film, so I don't have it. But you know what I mean? Like, so I like him, and I got along very well. And I was like, yo, it's not you, sir, but the rest of your fucking command projects are idiots. And like, like you can't make up your own. When Big Army has a regulation, you can't make up your own. It supersedes everything you have to fucking make up. And I know how the army works because my first year in the army, like I said, I had a guardian angel. My NCOIC in my platoon, we and I were talking, and we all make jokes, and he was like, Joe, I lied, Dabo, what's the difference between you and I? And I was like, of course, you're E6, I'm an E3, dumbass. Ha 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 ha. And he's like, no, try again. And it's like, what are you talking about? He was like, I know my regulations and you don't.
True. That's why I always had an SOP, standard operating procedures, at my desk.
So I learned the fucking regulation. When I got to my next unit, I had a fucking NCO come up to me and try to tell me I couldn't wear my fleece the way I had my fleece worn. Because in that unit, they don't do that in that unit. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. In the army, you can't do that because the Big Army says you can do blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then he just looked at me crazy. He's like, oh, I'm like, yes. So no, Sergeant. I'm not fucking taking my fleece up.
If you want to be against it, put it in writing.
Yep. I'm like, I'm gonna take it to JAG.
If you have something against it, put it in writing and send it to me.
I'm gonna take it to JAG after you send it. He looked at me.
Put it in writing.
No, my first month there was, I don't know, like my first 2 months there was rough though, because like after that situation occurred, another one occurred when it was like they tried to put me on the duty roster, but like according to you can't be in the first 90 days, you can't put you on the duty roster, and I knew that, but he was trying to do it because this girl he was trying to get her out of fucking duty. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it because blah 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 blah. Ooh, after that, they tried to fuck me any way they could.
Yep, retaliation.
They tried to, but then like, you know what it was? I just came from an infantry unit, and when you come from an infantry unit, you do your job. You really fucking do your job because you're in the field all the time. So I came there knowing my job, and I do my job. And my first day at that duty station in Gordon, my commander was there, and him and I got to talking, and my first sergeant was there. We got to talking, and they were asking me questions about my job, and I was answering. Like, oh, you really know what you're doing, so we want you here. So they had my back, so I was like, "Fuck it, bro."
That's it. But even the Navy, when you know your shit,
it's hard because they need you more than you need them.
When people come after you,
they can't fuck with you.
Yeah, people going.
But
we ain't gonna let that happen.
But sometimes you can make your life harder for that, and that's what I had to learn. That's what going to Afghanistan taught me. I met this captain in Afghanistan, and she was just like, Joe, Hey, Dabo once more. Nah.
Yeah, Dabo.
I used to be just. She's like, you're just like
last
me.
names in military.
Yeah, she's like, I love you because you're just like me. And I'm like, what do you mean? She was just like, listen, you know you're right. And you know what the fuck you're doing. But sometimes every battle is not worth fighting because even if you win, you will lose.
True.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I understood when I thought about it, I'm like, you're right, because I'm going to show this asshole up in front of everybody else. And then because of his authority and command, I'm going to get fucked in one way, shape, or another.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I took that lesson, I internalized it, and I made that part of who I am.
Yeah.
So thank you, Captain. I forgot her name now. I loved her. She's probably a major, a colonel now, actually.
That's good. So it was in the army that it wasn't in the army that you decided to your love for film started coming through, or like
No. I've always been an artistic kid.
Okay.
Like a person, human being. Even as a child, like I used to write a lot as a child. I wrote a lot. Like I write poetry. So I actually used to think I do music. I used to start writing raps and shit, but like I just was never like confident in myself enough like to get into rap. But I used to write because like, believe it or not, Master P and Puffy like were two of my biggest idols growing up. And it wasn't because of music. You're thinking like, why the hell would you like him because of music? Because no, not music. I learned at an early fucking age where the money was in art. And it was behind the scenes. It wasn't in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It was because back in the days, they used to have this show called VH1 Behind the Music. And Puffy did an episode. And at the time, it was called Puffy. He wasn't dead yet. It was Puffy.
Yeah.
He did an episode.
Exactly. The names, man.
So, like, in this episode, he talks about his rise. And he talks about how he went to Howard, actually.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted now you can follow my story. So, he went to Howard. So, he was talking about how he was at Howard. He was a backup dancer, actually. And so, he was at this music video shoot. I forgot for whom. And he was a backup dancer behind him doing his thing. And then, but he said what he started noticing was the people in the suits behind the camera, the ones with the Rolexes, the ones that were calling the shots. It wasn't the creatives. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? The camera, it wasn't the talent. It wasn't the rapper whose video was dancing in. That was the guy that was behind. And he started looking into it. So when he got into entertainment, he followed the art, but he also made sure his business was straight. And then Master P for me was just the fact that, like, Master P was offered X amount of money, whatever, and he turned it down, and instead asked them to give him an 85-15 deal, which is pretty much he gets 85% of the profit and the record label gets 15. And they gave it to him because they're like, oh, you're a gangster rapper, you're gonna die anytime soon. Look where he is right now.
He's still alive.
Master P was doing it before the Jay-Z's and Diddy, all that came along. You know what I mean?
He's a guy who
he doesn't get his
who
credit
laid the blueprint
because he's Southern.
a lot of
It doesn't get his credit.
But that also helped me check some of my bias. Like what was that documentary on Netflix called, the one on hip hop? There's a hip hop documentary.
Oh, I never watched it. I need to talk about.
I watched
Hip Hop Evolution, some shit.
I think
I
Hip
never
Hop
watched
Evolution.
it.
But it did a good job of paying homage to, because it started in New York, obviously, and then when they did the Southern rap and they touched on Texas, and then they go to Atlanta, they
were
to New
all
Orleans,
entrepreneurs as well as
like,
artists.
wow, there's this language that we use about black business, black ownership, and black old. And then when we see rappers, we're like, oh, hell no. We start downgrading, we start insulting them. And then when it's like rappers from the South, oh, extra, hell no. Extra. And then I was like, wait a minute. Why? And I'm like, yeah, but Master P in Nigeria, I remember Master P coming through, but we're only about he's a rapper. That's what we talked about.
Let me tell you something I realized through Master P. Majority of the musicians, not so true nowadays, but in the 90s for sure, majority of the music artists in the South were entrepreneurs. They own their own. They're rich off of their music without ever signing a major deal because
True.
I
think that
what they call it, trunk music or something like that. They still move music out the trunk.
That's also something that helped someone like 50 Cent when he came through, because he did something similar to that.
Master P and Diddy were probably the two biggest like influence in my life growing up. And it's crazy. I wish I had the same drive as they did. But like I said, like my drive was mostly based on getting the fuck out of my parents' house.
Yeah.
And I think once I got out their house, I didn't have anything motivating me anymore. And that's why I often find myself in like fucked up positions in life. Like I often I'm doing well in life, and then I'll just take a hard left on purpose though. And I never knew why, but I think I operate better from a stance of chaos because from that way I can find motivation. I need to find a way that I don't take 10 steps backwards just to get back, because you know what it is? Every time I fuck up, I come back way stronger than I was before. So like if I'm at step 10, I'm gonna go all the way back to step 5 so I can get to step 14. But I need to figure out how not to waste my energy.
Yeah.
And just you go from 10 to 14 without going back to 5. And that's where I'm at in life right now. And that's the difference between me and the Diddy's and Master P's and the Jay-Z's is the intelligence and the knowledge to be able to do what they can do and what they did. But I don't think I have the focus or the drive, and I don't know exactly why. But with all that being said, it goes back to I've always been art. I've always written art. I've always done art. I've always been into music. I love music. I live and die by music, son. I love the arts. I started writing stories because of that. Blah blah blah. I wrote poetry, and then when I got to college, University of Maryland, I met my friend, my brother, my heart, Patrick, my boy Pat. He like filmed also, like telling stories also. So like him and I started doing stuff together, and that's when I was like, I really just want to write film and do work on film, like producing, directing, writing, even starring. Listen, I'm a pretty boy, so I want to star. I'm smart too, but yeah, that's really what it was. Like I went to college, and that's what I really developed and really like nurtured my love of the arts. Well, not the art specifically, but just film specifically, I should say. Because I always loved the arts, but like film specifically was when I got to college, the first time.
Yeah,
and which ended up like creating like a conflict in my mind. I was like, what the fuck am I here doing accounting and finance? I don't really like this shit. I'm just here. I'm like, I'm not having a good time. That's why I dropped out initially. But like I said, I didn't have the discipline and the focus enough to do it at the time. It went why I ended up in the military, because I was just like, I can't keep running these streets. Because nothing comes from the streets. Let people understand something. The only thing you get from the streets is death or jail. Or you somehow escape both and live a shitty life for the rest of your life. Unless you're smart enough to get out of it early enough. And I saw that because I just saw motherfuckers getting like, you want to talk football numbers? They were getting football fucking numbers. I'm talking about big numbers. And then one of my homies that got killed, like two of them actually. I was like, no. I'm out this bitch. I'm gonna focus on my arts. So that's why I was like, let me join the army. I went to my cousins. Like shit got critical. So I went to my cousins in VA because I took me out of DC and Baltimore. And I was like, I want to do art. I want to do this. I want to do this. And that's why the military came into play, because he pretty much told me, he was like, you can go to school. Do the military, get out, get GI Bill and go to school. But I'm like, I know I'm going to stay in the military. But then I got in and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I just want to make movies and do my arts. I'm going to get the fuck out. I got out and then I moved to New York.
So were you ever tempted in the military to, because I know in the Navy, if you're an MC, I see Master of Communications or Mass Communications. I don't know which one it is.
Oh, they have like a.
I know the Army has something like that.
Yeah.
You can like do work on the film studios or something like that.
Yeah.
Were you ever attempted to go that route in the Army?
I thought about it when it's time for me to reclass. I didn't have to, but I was going to reclass when my contract was coming up. But then I did not want to stay in the military because I needed to do what I want to do when I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And like even if you stay in the military and did that, like you might as well go work for a news reporting anchor or whatever, because you're still in the military at the end of the day. You're not gonna be able to move how you want to move.
Exactly.
So it's just like I was tempted, bro, but it was just like once I hurt my knee and I knew for a fact there was no way in shape or form I could ever jump out of an airplane or go do special forces, I was already dead on set and getting the fuck out. Like I'm telling you, the only reason I would have stayed in was to be able to do special forces. Like if you could tell me I can jump in the ninja style, kill somebody and be out, I would have stayed in. But I can't ninja style kill somebody. And now I gotta really straight up bang and be in firefights all the time. Like I don't got time for that shit. Like nobody got time for that, man. I want to be in a small team, come and do what I gotta do and get the fuck out and be home. You know what I mean? That's how I am, man. I want to do my killings and be out. I don't got time to be sitting in the ward playing games with people.
So you ended up at Pace University in New York, and before that, before coming to Pace, did you always have it in mind to come to New York?
New York or LA?
Okay.
I knew for a fact I had to be in a cultural hub, and Maryland has a couple film stuff going on there in the DMV actually. Actually, most of it's in Baltimore. I don't think it's in the DMV. Most of it's in Baltimore. But still, it's not enough for me to be. I didn't think I could function work-wise, career-wise, so it had to be either New York or LA. LA to me at the time was just like, I was going to LA actually. I was packed, ready. I actually got a job in LA, everything, bro. I was ready to go. I remember I was still stationed in Fort Gordon. I was in Georgia. I was cleaning my barracks. I was getting ready to pack my shit. Boom, 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 boom. I had like two more weeks left. The song that night, my friend calls me. He's from New York, and him and his dad on the phone with me. They're like, "Oh, you can come live with us when you get out." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And boom. I put my iTunes on shuffle, and the song Frank Sinatra comes on. New York, New York. Listen to me. That song has been in my library forever, and I listen to it when I listen to it, when I want to, when I'm in that mood. But it never just comes on randomly. But it came on at that time, random as fuck, and it was just so like. I think it just came at a time of vulnerability for me. So when it came on, it was just like, oh shit, maybe that means I should move to New York, and that's how I moved to New York, son.
So it was after you moved to New York that you chose the university.
Yeah. It wasn't never Pace first, and then it was New York first, okay. And then I was like, I'm gonna make my way here one way and one other. Because one thing I know about myself, bro, you can put me in the desert, bro, I'll find water. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I will always survive wherever you put me. So it's like, I was like New York first, and I figured out after I get there.
So was that your first time in New York?
No, it was my first time living here. My first time being in New York for an extended period of time. But I've been to New York before, but usually like day trips.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And to get drunk. That's all coming in from Jersey when my boy Pat is from Jersey, so I just go to his crib. He's coming to New York to go to clubs.
So, what was your first welcome? What would you consider your first welcome to New York surprise?
Oh my God, man! Parallel parking. Holy shit, son! I got in my car and drove 12 hours from Georgia to come up here. And I had to parallel park.
You're almost like me. I drove straight from DFW, Dallas,
mind you,
Texas.
Let me tell you something. Like in Maryland, to pass your driving test, you have to parallel park. Like it's part of our driving because where I'm from, you have to parallel park sometimes.
Okay. In Hampton, in the 757 of Virginia, you don't have to.
See, because we live in the city. Because I'm from the DMV. I'm not from like people say I'm from DMV, but you're just from like you said 757. Oh, they're from like Baltimore. No, I'm from the actual fucking DMV.
I was down. I was already stationed down at Virginia Beach.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but like so.
I took when I had to get my license. I got my license in Virginia Beach because I could have gone back home to Reston.
That's
so if I had
DMV.
gone back to Reston,
you had to parallel park.
I would have done parallel parking.
You know why? Because we live in DC. You live around DC, so you have to learn how to parallel park around there. That's why.
But in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, you don't have to do parallel parking.
But I had not driven in forever. No, I mean I had a car, but I had not had to because I've been stationed in the South.
Mm-hmm.
I drive up here, I'm like parallel parking, son. What? Yo, it took me like 20 minutes to park. That was like my biggest and then I think, oh my God, what was it? I'm trying to think like what my main like get the fuck out of here moment. I'm trying to think. Oh my God, what the fuck was I don't know. I can't think. That's a hard question. I think parallel parking is the first thing I just remember about New York and how crazy that shit was.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I was like,
yo.
That's a good one. Well, I have to start wrapping up for time. But so let me go through 3 quick questions. So you're already in the industry, working towards your dream projects. And do you have any plan for a project in Sierra Leone? And nope, not talking about Blood Diamond Part 2. I know some people will be wishing for that.
Sick.
But I bring that up because I love one of my favorite shows that I enjoyed is In the Long Run, which is like a coming to Britain. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on Stars. It's from your boy Idris Elba.
No.
So it's like
Sierra Leone.
Yeah. That's why I say it's your boy. It's my brother too, but he doesn't know we are related. We're working on. I should have started the podcast with you. Have his number. Can you let him know that we have a spot open for him?
I probably got some family connection somewhere. I'm gonna hit up my mom or something,
But it's a fantastic show. It's on Stars. It's literally himself, his younger brother, and his wife and son in the 80s, London, and it's just hilarious. I think he had already himself and his wife had been in London for a few years, and then his brother just arrived fresh from Sierra Leone, and you're gonna get good laughs. It's
What's it called?
In the Long Run.
In the Long Run. Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Many people were not aware of it, so it's the and it's mad intelligence. It's not like a racism gotcha in the face, because you're just gonna be laughing. It's good laughter. It's like, man, this is but it's 80s. It's set in 80s. Yeah, 80s England. Yeah. So.
Okay, so I was talking to my cousin about this. Or actually my cousins, because I spoken to several of them about this. Because one of them really wants me to come back and live there for like a year, you know what I mean, and work there, because I don't want her. But she wants me to come back. Some of my other cousins, and he was just like, there's no money there for any of this shit. But I honestly know, because arts is the arts, you can do whatever, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Given the chance, I will definitely go back and work on something. Like, even if it's just a quick, like, it'll probably be like more of like a cinema verite type thing, where it's like, it's scripted, but it's also like real life capturing life of what it is to be Sierra Leone nowadays.
Okay.
It's, because like, if the industry ever got to the point where it's like, it has enough infrastructure to go there and be able to hold like a I wouldn't mind doing like a narrative, that like a maybe like a miniseries, one-off type thing with like 10 episodes. That's it. My life as a Sierra Leonean.
All right.
And I shoot it there. So that would be most likely it.
Okay. I have something that I will discuss with you afterwards. You just reminded me.
Listen, man, I can always come back, man. Listen.
No, there's something that it's something that I'm thinking. I've always been thinking of, but it was pre-pandemic, so I haven't figured out how to go about it. But you might be the person to talk to about it. So, but it's too. I don't want to spoil the audience right now. So,
got it.
Because I'll only come to the audience when I need their money, because I'm gonna need money for that.
Got it.
All right, so we can't end this without this question. When it comes to food, the cuisine, where does your heart belong to? What's your favorite?
Oh, Jollof. My mama's Jollof, to be specific. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Jollof.
Listen, I put her food over anybody. I mean, listen to me. Listen, if Mom Deuce was cooking a pot of Jollof rice right now, and Beyonce was cooking a pot of Jollof rice right now, and she said,
"Hey,
no,
the views.
She's married.
These are the views of Joe Dabo.
She's married. She's married. So let me pick someone
not the views of White Label American.
Let me pick someone that's not married.
The Beehive.
This is Joseph
doesn't have to
Selassie
come
Aline
from me.
Dawa. This is my point of view.
The Beehive don't have to come for me.
Not her.
They can
I'm
go
not
for
gonna
Joe.
say Beyonce.
I'll give
I'm
you
not
his
gonna say
email and even his house address.
She's married, so I don't even want to use her. Let's just say a gorgeous woman, celebrity that's not married. You put name, face, whatever you want to put right now. I don't want to see Beyonce because she's married. We're cooking, and she was like, "You could fuck me after you eat my meal. If you see my meal is better than your mom's." I'm gonna tell her, "No, you shit is still shit. Get the fuck out of here." You see what I'm saying? That's my word.
The Jollof loyalty is strong
That's
in
my
this
word,
one,
son.
All right, so you've already said you're a music lover.
Yeah.
So now let's see if we can get some controversy with this answer. You need to boogie down for, let's say, at least an hour. Well, I know it's probably going to be over an hour with you. Give us 3 artists that will keep you shaking it down for over an hour. And we have not been, should we, let me see. Okay, we'll tolerate one from Maryland, but it can't go. But we need them local. Give us give us the real deal. You know what we want.
Right. I will groove it right now for an hour over SZA. For a fact, that's not even a question. Mahalia, it's number 2. She's young female artist from UK. Fucking
okay.
She's beautiful.
I wasn't expecting UK, but
more importantly, she's very talented and she's a great songwriter.
Like Mahalia.
Mahalia, yes.
Okay. And Sizzla.
It's SZA. That's
wait, is it Sizzla or Sizzla?
SZA. SZA. SZA.
Okay.
for 3 hours.
What about from Sierra Leone?
From Sierra Leone? I don't really know Sierra Leone artists.
What?
If I'm being honest with you.
Sierra Leone Mafia can come get him now.
I mean, they can come for who they want to, but
come get
But
him.
if you talking about African, I like that Rotimi.
Rotimi.
I like him.
We can count him.
I like him. So you could throw three of them.
Isn't he from Maryland?
I mean, he's Nigerian, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. We'll count it. So when it's convenient, we'll count him as Nigerian. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's New Jersey.
Yeah, either way, yeah. I mean,
that's the Yoruba boy.
Yeah, he's
Yoruba
exactly.
Boy. So we'll count him. You know, you could have gone with if you can't remember any Sierra Leone, you could have just gone with the person we already mentioned.
I don't know that guy.
Idris.
Oh, Idris Elba. He sells music. Oh yeah, he does like jazz, like trumpets, right?
Nah, he's a DJ, man.
You're
you
right.
I got his. Yeah, man. You're not related to him. See, that's proof. I'm the relation.
Listen, man.
Idris, you know what to do. Call me. Call me.
Yeah. Now Salon Bobodis. So I'm just saying. You hear me?
I can say that one to Nasalon Bobodis.
Okay. Listen, man. I'm stamped and official. You feel me? But it's so funny. If I was to go home now, they'll probably call me a JC, which is like in Creole, it's
Johnny.
It just come.
Johnny just.
It just come.
We
so
would say
like,
JJC.
Yeah, it just
Johnny
come.
just come.
So
you guys.
So for you English speakers, JC is pretty much saying you just coming over here for the first time. Like you're not native to that place. Even though I was born and raised, they'll probably call me JC.
Yeah, for me they will say JJC until I start haggling prices. They'll say, "Chai, it's got my guy." Now, wow.
I don't even speak the language, so I can't even argue the prices. I just probably cuss them out in English, and then
I'm pretty sure when you cuss, then they'll be like, this guy. Like, nah. Yes. One of my guests, she's her dad is white. For some reason, he ended up in Nigeria, got lost there, and then married her mom. And then until his family figured out, hey, you still alive? They thought he had died. That's how they ended up back in the UK. And so in Nigerian, people see her because they know there's white in her. So people don't assume she's Nigerian. And then when she starts hitting you, hey, you be our person. Then she hits you Igbo. It's like double attack. It's like, because they try to give you the big prizes. She's like,
I don't like that.
She's like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? You know who I am? Sorry, sister. We thought you were a white woman.
Yeah.
Please understand now. You understand where we are coming from.
Listen, man.
So final question. What would you like to leave the audience with? You know, it's a freestyle. You can give us something from your poetry. You can give us something from your music, from one of your favorite movies, a quote. Hey, anything you'd like to leave the audience with.
Shit, man. I wish I prepared this.
That's the point of this question. It's to catch you, get you to like one of my podcasters will say, to raw dog the air.
Listen, man. I'll tell people this. The past has already happened. You can't do anything to change or affect that. The future is based on what you're doing now in the present. So you should find time to live in the moment, in the present, and appreciate the present. Because like I'm diagnosed with like depression, like bipolar depression, and like I have severe PTSD. And I find myself for a year or so change, I was living like in the depressive state constantly. And it took a while for me to understand. I realized something. I was always living in the past or was too worried about what's going to happen to me in the future. I never took time to notice what was happening with me right in the moment. So I never got time to appreciate the good or learn how to deal with the not so good because I was always just like in a fantasy world. Even to this day, I always had to be cognizant of that and I always catch myself. So I say this to anybody listening. Remember, the past already occurred. You can't affect that. The present is the only thing you have. So live in the fucking moment and enjoy every single moment for what it is. And just remember, a moment is a moment. They come in and go. So never let one moment determine the next 30 years of your life. Because,
I love that. Thank you, brother. So do you have any plugins that you would like to leave the audience with?
If you would like, you can follow me on IG at Dob0. That's DABZR and the number 0. Dob0, you know. Yeah, man, look out for me. I'm working on a few projects right now. Like, nothing actually in production, but I'm actually working on an outline, a screenplay right now, and another outline for a show. And I also have an outline for a podcast that I'm working on right now. So I'm trying to figure out the format and the specifics of it. But that podcast is coming to you sometime soon. If it's not going to be through something I'm doing, it's going to be through a big outlet because I am actually preparing to pitch.
All right.
It's the reason why I don't really want to say what the podcast is about right now.
Hey, no worries.
So,
well, the moment you're ready, let me know. I'll share you out there. I'll support you 24/7.
Listen, bro, I'm gonna do the same for you. I support everybody. I just always forget you do your podcast, bro. Like, but if you follow me on IG, you see how like I put everybody on blast on my shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like I'm all about, especially nowadays, man. I'm all about black unity and black loyalty, bro. I beef with nobody black. You understand what I'm saying? If you black, we got no problem, son. You may not like me. You may think I'm a dick, but listen to me, Joe. We have no problems. I wish you the best. It's just that sometimes some people everybody can't sit at your table. But if you're black, trust me, I want you to do well in life. Because the better you do, the better we do as a people. You see what I'm saying?
Thank you for that, brother. So I will make sure I add your link to the show notes and people can follow that. And to everyone listening, don't forget to come back next week for the next episode. Thank you for the privilege of your company. Keep the love coming in. Like, share, subscribe. Join us on Patreon. Buy our t-shirts. And hey, don't forget, keep the love. All right. Thanks for listening to White Label American. If you enjoyed the show, we'll appreciate if you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. If you have any questions, comments, or have someone who will be a good guest on the show, or you want to be on the show, send us a message at whitelabelamerican@gmail.com. And make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at White Label American. Thank you for your support.